I want to talk Mason Mount, Adebayo Akinfenwa, because this is one, well, it's not divided opinion amongst Chelsea fans. They're pretty united, actually, that if Chelsea, as seemed increasingly likely, sell one of their own, their academy poster boy, if you like, Mason Mount, to Manchester United this summer, that is a really bum move from Chelsea. Do you agree?
1,000%. I do. I think he's an England international. He's homegrown. And one thing I think most fans love to chant about, scream about, is saying he's one of our own. So to then go and sell him to a team that's already on the up, so you're adding to them trying to... They finished third this season. They are only going to strengthen, and you're going to allow them to take one of your potential best players or somebody that's around for the future. For me, listen, I don't know if it happens, don't know if it goes through, but if it does, then I don't know what Chelsea's playing at, because Man United will therefore be stronger for it. It wasn't even like Chelsea, it's not like, you know, we looked at it where Man City could say they can afford to give Jesus, they can afford to give players because they're so far ahead of everybody else. Chelsea's not the case, and you're giving one of your... I just think it adds double as well when they're homegrown. I do. I think they know the club. And the thing we talk about clubs at the moment is that you need to have players who know your culture, that know the history of the club, that know the importance, that know when there's rival games, that know what the fans want because they've lived it and they've breathed it. And to get rid of Mason Mount to go to United, it just doesn't add up.
Mason Mount was watching the Spanish Grand Prix won by Max Verstappen earlier today, and he was quizzed actually on the red carpet, if you like, about his move to Manchester United. He totally straight back at the question and said, I'm just here to enjoy the Grand Prix. Interesting you mentioned about homegrown players. I wrote a piece on this for the talkSPORT website about not just Mason Mount actually, but Conor Gallagher, Trevor Chalobah, Callum Hudson-Odoi is returning from a pretty miserable loan spell. And Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who I think is off to AC Milan. That looks like that will happen. That's 5 academy players that Chelsea are willing to sell this summer. And I guess he's emblematic in some ways when you chuck in Mateo Kovacic as well, who looks like he's off to Manchester City. That's 6 players, 5 academy players. Kovacic, if he's good enough for Manchester City, clearly he's good enough for Chelsea. And this is a symbol of how badly they've been run so far by Todd Boehly. 2 pretty disastrous transfer windows in terms of money they've spent on wages and inflated transfer fees, that they're having to almost sell their soul to balance the books. That can't be right, can it?
Yeah, listen, it doesn't add up in the sense where I understand that it's a model, a business model that, you know, not all homegrown players can make it in the team. So you invest in them and then you sell them out for a profit because they're homegrown. I get that. But when you're selling homegrown, the culture at the moment, the ones that you actually, the players you name to be the spine, to go with the Reece James, the Mason Mounts, they're the spine of your team. And then you add other players here, I'm not saying flair, but you add other players here to create a dynasty. But to be able to get rid of all 5 of them, and then all the players that are coming in now, they're new. They don't know the history. Of course they know the history, but you know what I mean? They don't know the culture. So that's where you then look at it from outside looking in, and you're like, well, what are you not playing at? And we totally understand that. Look, it's new management from top to bottom. And that they have to go and try and, well, it looks like they're ripping it up and trying again, but if that's the case, then you're going to have to look and expect some turbulent times before it can get any better.